Hello, want to turn your live videos into content repurposing machines? Creating podcasts, blog posts, and more? Well, welcome to Winning with Live Video, a new show powered by Restream. And in this episode, I'm going to show you how to do it. Well, hello, welcome to Winning with Live Video. My name's Ian Anderson Gray. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to be here with you today because live video is not just about me being here talking to you now. It's about you watching now, either watching in the future, in the replay. We're going to be talking about all of that in today's episode. Or if you're watching now, or maybe, I don't know, you're watching really in the future. So welcome. My name's Ian Anderson Gray. I am, in fact, where is the button when you need it? I should have organized myself earlier. My name's Ian Anderson Gray. I'm from the Confident Live Marketing Academy. And this is a brand new show from Restream. Well, kind of brand new because we did it last week. Last episode was last week. And I'd love to know from you if you have just joined. I can see a number of people have joined watching live. Let me know where you're from in the world. I can see we've got Cash App, the multitasker. I'm so impressed that you are a multitasker. I try multitasking and I fail miserably, but the show has begun. It has indeed. We've got Melissa watching. Great to see you, Melissa. Hope you're doing really well. And Cash App is saying yes. Let's go. Yes, we are indeed watching. We're going to get started. Now, in today's episode, I am going to be sharing with you a presentation I have given recently all about how to turn your live shows into a content repurposing machine. If you are like me and you are a recovering perfectionist, now I want to know from you, are you a recovering perfectionist? It can't just be me. You know, I've tried to create regular blog posts and podcasts in the past, and it takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, and being consistent is really hard. Well, in today's episode, I'm going to show you how you can make your multi-streamed live video show, or it might just be a single live, you might be broadcasting to one place or more than one place, and turn it into a content repurposing machine so that you can be really smart with your time. Now, does that sound exciting to you? I hope it does, because it is exciting to me. As a recovering perfectionist, it really, really helps. Now, actually, recently I was diagnosed with ADHD. So if you are whether you're ADHD or maybe you just procrastinate or you get distracted easily. A lot of entrepreneurs are like that. It doesn't matter. This will help you. Now, let me know where in the world you're watching from, if you are joining me live or if you are watching in the future. And if you are watching in the future and you want to just get stuck into the main meat of today's show, then you can just skip forward a couple of minutes. I just want to spend time with my live viewers. I can see who have we got. We've got Visnja watching from the beautiful Croatia. One day I will visit your beautiful land of Croatia. I saw it in the distance when I was, where was it? Slovenia. I think, am I right in saying Slovenia is next door to Croatia? Forgive me if I've got that right, but I'm pretty sure it is. So you're watching on LinkedIn. We have got David watching on Facebook. I'd also love to know what kind of device are you watching on. Yeah, Kasha is watching on YouTube, on the tube. Great to see. We've got people watching on all the different channels, and this is one of the great things about Restream. It allows you to broadcast to loads of different destinations. In fact, over 30 different destinations. And I want to remind you today, I think I'm right in saying it's the last day to get this mega discount of over 31%. Did I get that right? Yeah, 31%. It's a Halloween. I know Halloween, when was it? At the weekend. But this is the last day you can get it. So if you go to iag.me, this is an affiliate link, just to warn you. So if you do purchase the paid plans, I will get a bit of a cut. iag.me/Restream. It is amazing. It is awesome. you can do so many different things with Restream. Now, there is a free plan. If you want to try out the free plan, that's absolutely fine. Or if you want to take multi-streaming seriously and do some really cool things, like, for example, broadcasting not just to Facebook profiles, but to your page and groups, and over, you can, I'm multi-streaming to over 14, is it like 15 different destinations today? If you want to be like that, then you can do that. Go to iag.me/Restream, 31% discount, and I think you get some more stuff off as well. It is amazing. Oh my goodness, we have a spam comment on the Twitch. Don't you love it? Want to become famous by followers and viewers, apparently. I'm already famous. We're all famous here, and we don't need to buy followers. So thank you for that. Melissa's saying limitations on focusing. I think so many of us do. Let's get the words out. So many of us do in this world. And Kashyap is watching from India. Remind me where in India. I love India. I went many years ago, 2001, I think it was, or 2002. David is watching from Las Vegas. Great city. I went there quite a while ago. And David is watching on his desktop PC. And Vishna is watching on mobile phone. Can you send me the link? Mike is saying through the comments below link. Oh, is that about... yeah, you're probably right. That's a very good question. Very good question. So about Restream. So you can sign up for Restream just by going here. I'm going to type it up here. Now, actually, I have a confession to make. Let me know if you can get that in the comments. I have a confession. Today's time is actually a bit different. What I hadn't realized, the clocks, the times change in the UK. I think also in Europe and other parts of the world. So I normally go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m., which is normally 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, but the US and possibly Canada have not changed, so we're actually at a different time today. But next week, I promise you, we will be going live 5 p.m. in the UK, 6 p.m. European time, Central European time. That is 12 p.m. Noon. Let's get this right. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, but this week is a little bit different. Apologies for that. So yeah. I think it's time to get on with the show. It is time to get on with the show. I'm very excited. Let's do this. I would love to know from you if you are a recovering perfectionist like me. But yeah, I can't be the only one. Let's talk about how you can turn your live shows into a content repurposing powerhouse. Now, if there's anyone else out there that you think would love to hear this content. Maybe they are a recovering perfectionist. Maybe they are trying to create all this content, but they're struggling and they want to be more efficient. Just ping them into the chat. Let them know either in the replay or watching live. And I would love it if you continue to ask questions. I'm here to support you. But live video, you create this piece of content. A lot of people then just leave it there to kind of die or fester away in the background. When you go live, yes, I can spend time with you watching live. There's that community aspect of it, which is amazing. I love that part of live video, the community. But why not turn it into a piece of evergreen content like today's show? We have the first section, which is me engaging with my audience and my community, and we're having a bit of a chat and stuff. But then this main section can be repurposed for later. It can be turned into a podcast. It can be repurposed into a blog post and all those kinds of things. So I have a bit of fun with my live shows. Now, you may not know this, but I trained as a classical singer, as a professional classical singer. I sang all around the UK. I have a bit of fun these days with music. And so I do some TikToks and some Instagram reels with my live shows. Why not? Why not do a bit of that? So here is, can't believe I'm sharing this, but this is a bit of an Instagram reel that I did all about turning your live shows into a content repurposing powerhouse. Now, let me know, by the way, if you can hear the sound. I'm just going to check. Hopefully the sound is going to work. Let's see. Right. Ooh, what's going on? That's not good, is it? That is not good. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Come on. You can do it. You can definitely do it. Oh, I know what's happened. It is. Right, there we go. It's PowerPoint. I shouldn't have used PowerPoint. That was the problem. Right, let's try that again. There you go. You can see that now. Let's do it.
Turn your live shows into a repurposing powerhouse. Turn your live shows into a repurposing powerhouse. Powerhouse, 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 powerhouse.
Okay, that was incredibly cheesy, but I'd like to turn all of my live shows and podcasts into silly songs because it's being memorable. It's standing out. Now, you might not, I don't know, you might not like that. You might think that's silly, but we've all got to find a way for ourselves to stand out. And that's the way I do it. I'd love to know from you, what is the way that you can stand out with your content? You might be a gamer and you're going live every day, every week. You might be a marketer, you might be a small business owner, you might just be having fun, but what helps you stand out? Apparently you can hear the sound, which is great. Thank you, Real Northwest Arkansas, that's great. And Melissa's saying, yes, that's awesome. So what makes you stand out? I'd love to know. Okay, it's happened again. In PowerPoint is just being really dodgy today. So let me just try this again. And here we go. It's going to work now, isn't it? Right. It is, isn't it? Okay, so you can turn your live shows into blog posts, and I'm going to show you how. Social media images and videos, into a podcast, into LinkedIn videos, YouTube videos, you name it. And it's so important to do this. Why go live in the first place? Well, first of all, you can be consistent. I've got a live show. I've got a couple of live shows. I go live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And of course, you can do that through the power of Restream. So you can reach all the different audiences in those different places. You know, these days, everyone has their preference. And I'd love to know from you, like, where do you prefer to hang out? Some people love to hang out on Facebook. Some people love to hang out on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on some of these other channels like DLive and things like that. So, you know, you can be consistent on all those different shows. You can turn your live show into a content repurposing powerhouse, which I'm talking about today. You can grow your audience and your channels as well. You can gain confidence through the practice that you do. You might not be that confident in front of the camera, but through this regular practice, you can. What else can you do? Excuse me. You can grow and build your community. I love to hang out with you guys watching, whether you're watching live or the replay. You can increase that reach more new people. You can engage and increase that engagement. And we all know that there are social networks out there, content platforms like YouTube and Facebook that love that engagement. That's what they're seeing. So yeah, that's what it's all about. That's absolutely what it's all about. And if you are like me, you can overcome that perfectionism. You can overcome that perfectionism. And I can't be the only one who suffers from perfectionism. So if you're watching, let me know. Do you suffer from perfectionism? I can't be the only one. Yeah, Micah says, we do not celebrate Halloween. You're not alone. I don't do Halloween either. But I know a lot of people do. But it doesn't matter because you can still get an amazing deal, whether you like Halloween or not. Restream are doing a 31% discount on the deal. So like, yeah, just do it. I just about knocked my camera over there. That wasn't good. So yeah, let's move on to the next thing. What was I going to say? It's gone black again. I know what happens. It's when I click on the screen. When I click on the screen, it does it. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Okay, I want to share this with you. Okay, perfectionism syndrome. I spent days and days and weeks and months on this chart. No, I'm only joking, I didn't. This is all about getting started with live video. So if you start your first ever live video, and I want to know from you, have you started yet? Have you actually gone live? If you have, what was your first experience? What was the first ever live video? What was it like? Were you nervous or were you not nervous? And how has that happened over time? So let me know, were you nervous or not nervous the first time you went live? And if you haven't gone live yet, what's stopping you? What's stopping you? Now, the first time I went live, I was super nervous. I was petrified. Well, I wasn't quite petrified, but I was really nervous. And it wasn't that great, the first one that I did. So you'll find the first live video that you do, your fear factor will be really high and it just won't be that great, the quality. But over time, as you can see with the super accurate chart, that your confidence level will go up and up and up, and the quality will go better as well. So keep working on that. I promise you it will get better. So what is next? Let's think about perfectionism. Do we want to be perfect? Think about the people that you watch going live on a regular basis. Do you like them because they're perfect? You know, like Owen Video, friend of mine, he's an amazing creator. He creates the most amazing pieces of content. Is he perfect? I'm sure he would be okay with me saying that he isn't perfect. You know, sometimes he makes mistakes. We love I don't know about you, but I love his humor, his wacky side. There are other content creators out there, and yes, they create amazing content, but they're not perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. I've had some problems today. So I love this quote from Philip Kotler, and I'd love to know from you what you think about this. You know, marketers need to adapt to this new reality and create brands that behave like humans, approachable and likable, but also vulnerable. Okay, now, you don't want to have a vulnerable brain surgeon. Okay, you're just about to go into brain surgery. You don't want the brain surgeon to like start talking about how they're get a bit depressed sometimes. But brands that show the human side are really powerful. Brands should become less intimidating. They should become authentic and honest, admit their flaws, and stop trying to seem perfect. I think that's really important. I love this from David. David's from Las Vegas. He says, my first live show will be tomorrow. Awesome. All the best for that. Not really nervous as I do a lot of video stuff. So you've done a lot of that kind of preparation work before. And also you host a travel show. But you'll be doing an Amazon Live shopping show. Using Restream. Only nervous that my systems won't work. I'm a perfectionist too. No, David, you're not a perfectionist. You are a recovering perfectionist, and there's a big difference there. I'd love to know how you get on Amazon Live. I've done a few Amazon Lives. I need to be doing a lot more of this. This is one of the things on my big to-do list. If you're using Restream, are you using Restream Studio? If you're using Restream Studio, it will go really well, I'm sure. Just make sure you have the app on your phone, the Amazon app, and everything else will just work, I'm sure. But, you know, if it doesn't go quite as well as you'd like tomorrow, then the next one you do will be better, and it will go better every time as well. And Melissa says a video every day. Yeah, I mean, I think going live every day can really help. That's how I got over my perfectionism and really learnt. I did a live show. In fact, I did live twice per day for 12 days, and in the run up to Christmas, quite a few years ago, like 5 years ago now. And that went, well, it didn't all go according to plan, but yeah, it kind of did work a little bit. And sometimes I made mistakes as well. Mike is saying, what time is the live stream start on the 25th? I'm not sure who you're talking. Are you talking to me? I'm not sure. David is saying, yes, using Restream 2 cameras, etc. Right. So you're not keeping things simple. That's great. I'd love to know how you're getting on with that. Cool. Right. Well, I'll tell a little bit more about the whole mindset side of things. I'm going to be talking a bit more about mindset in future shows, but we do need to talk about this before we get on with the process. You know, the the thing is, there's two parts of our brain. Some psychologists talk about there are even more parts to the brain, but you've got the prehistoric part of the brain that kind of wants to protect you. And when you do something new, like live video, and it kind of feels a bit scary, like the tiger is going to eat you, that you're going to die. But you need to trust in the process. And I'm going to be sharing with you my process so that you can turn that fear into excitement. I was a little bit nervous today, partly because I'm actually quite tired. I've been live streaming since like 10 o'clock this morning. I've been live producing an event for an entrepreneur in the UK called Janet Murray. She's got a big conference at the moment, which is today and tomorrow. We're using Restream for the whole thing. So I've been on the go all that time. But I'm not that nervous because I know I've got this process in place, and I've also learned how to turn that fear into excitement. So yeah, it's really important to do that, to turn that fear into excitement. So, and that might be why I'm sorry, Micah, if I misunderstood your question. My brain just might not be working quite as well as it should be. But I've got my 5 Ps live video process. Anyone heard about this before? I know Melissa, who's in the house, has heard this because she's taken a few of my courses and seen probably one of my live videos on this before. But the 5 Ps really helps it. The first one and the most important is planning. Plan your live shows so that it's going to work not just for the live element, but also for the replay and for the repurposing side of things. Then it's a case of pre-promoting it. We scheduled this show in advance. I've let my my community know, my newsletter as well. It's all on the Restream channels as well. So that is really important to pre-promote it, let people know in advance. So you've got some live viewers, and then you want to produce it. So this is on the date. This is actually right now. I'm producing it. I'm using Restream Studio. I've got a plan. I've actually spent some time in advance to get that all sorted. Then, once I press the end broadcast button, I want to post promote it. I want to let people know about watching the replay of this as well. And then finally, and this will only work, the repurposing side of things will only work if you have planned it in advance and you have structured the show. It really, really helps. So yes, that's how you do it. So yeah. By the way, Micah, if you were talking about when this show goes live, this particular show, Winning with Live Video, it goes live at the same time every week. Just this week, because of the time difference, is slightly different. So that is 5 p.m. in the UK. That is 6 p.m. Central European time, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And unfortunately, I can't work out where else in the world it is because my time zone knowledge doesn't go quite as far as that. Let's talk about planning. Okay, this is kind of like the unsexy part, but it is good. Like, what does planning make you feel? Does it make you feel, I don't know, bored? Does it make you feel a bit bored? Well, planning had that kind of feeling for me. But I tell you, planning changed everything for me. With my plan, I have been able to have a consistent episode of my podcast go out every single Friday for my live shows since May 2019. That is like amazing. It really has helped me be consistent. So let's talk about that plan. And I'm going to share with you some of my plan here. This is my planning document. Okay, so you need to create your planning document, whether it's a live show or a podcast or a combination of the two. So here is mine here. If you can't read everything on the screen, do not worry. I'm going to go through it now. The first part, the first thing you need to come up with is a show name. So obviously this show name is Winning with Live Video. And that's the name of the show. That's the first thing you want to think about. Then you want to summarize it. What is the show about? So in this case, this is for my other show, the Confident Live Marketing Show. I've put here the Confident Live Marketing Podcast and Show is a regular live video show. and podcast. It's aimed at established entrepreneurs who want to level up their impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. Webinars and podcasts will focus on knocking down the three main barriers these entrepreneurs face when creating live content. I won't go through all of that now, but come up with a summary. This is like if somebody was to ask you, like, what's your live show about? How would you describe that in a couple of sentences? So I'd love to know from you, what is your live show about? Do you go live regularly? David, what's your Amazon Live about? How would you summarize that in like a sentence or a couple of sentences? So that's the first thing. The next thing that you need to think about is, who is your audience? Now, some people might call this, your avatar. But it's just when you are talking to people, your audience, who are they? Who are you wanting to attract? So for my other show, I'm focusing on an audience who are established entrepreneurs who have an online-based business. They want to level up their impact, authority, and using live video, but they're struggling with getting in front of the camera confidently, or with setting up the tech and gear, or with their content and marketing. And demographically for that show, they're based in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the rest of Europe. And for this show, for the Winning with Live Video, it's actually a broader sweep, worldwide audience, and we're focusing on basically getting started with multi-streaming and live video. So you need to think about that. The next part is focusing on you. Now you might be thinking, well, like, what's the point in that? What's the point in focusing on you? And the reason I put this down, it's kind of like putting down your bragging rights. What gives you the right to go live for your people to watch you? Like, why are you watching this show today? Why listen to me? And the reason I put this down is there will be days, I don't know about you, but sometimes you might not have as many viewers watching. You might just think, well, you might start to kind of lose your confidence. And this can often happen, particularly with podcasts, but also with live shows, like 10 episodes in, 8 episodes in, you can have a blip. This allows you to go back and have a look and see what are the bragging rights? What gives you the right to talk about what you're talking about? Why are you an expert in this field? Or it might just be that you're enthusiastic about it. So I put in some blurb there that just reminds me why I do have what it takes to talk about my particular subject. So yeah, I think that's really important to do that. What does David say? So he said, this is for your Amazon Live. I do travel, home, and tech related product reviews. That's amazing. If you haven't checked out Amazon Live, definitely check it out. It's still fairly new and underused, but it is amazing. I'd love to see a bit more about what you're doing, David. I think that is great. Okay, so those are the first 3 sections. The next thing that you want to think about are breaking up your show into different themes. So for my Confident Live Marketing show, yes, okay, it's about helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority, and profits using live video. But then coming up with ideas on like what to talk about is a bit tricky. Like how do I come up with topic ideas? And this is a common problem that people come to me and ask Ian, like, okay, I've come up with a name for my live show, but I can't really come up with ideas for the episodes. I really struggle with that. David, like, how do you struggle? How do you work that out for your Amazon Live? And how do you work that out? So coming up with some themes really helped me. So I break mine up into 3. The first is the camera confidence, mindset, and presentation. So I could have somebody to come on to the show like an ADHD coach, or I can talk about authenticity or being human, or I could have somebody talking about ADHD or procrastination or Alexander technique and warming up. And there's so many different ideas then that come from that. The second one is tech and gear. So I can bring somebody from a camera manufacturer or microphone manufacturer, or maybe somebody from Restream or OBS or Ecamm Live to come on the show to talk about the tech. And then is the content and marketing confidence. So this is to do with social media and marketing. So I can talk about those aspects of it. And it just makes things so much easier when you break it up into 3 different themes. It really does. So I'd love to know from you watching now live or watching in the future, watching the replay, what would your 3 themes be for your show? So whether you have a live show now or whether you are thinking about having one, what do you think your 3 themes would be? I know I'm getting you to use your brain and think, but I think this is really important stuff. This really, really helped me be consistent and create really valuable content that I know that my audience really wants to hear. So think about that. Let me know. I'd love to know. This is not just all about me speaking. I would really love to know. Now, David is saying, what's he say here? So he says, my show name is It's the Dave Show. I love that. Yeah, just make it nice and human. So I can really do anything. My main topics are what I said before. I own a travel agency, host a travel show, and travel a lot. So I travel. I have done a lot of home improvements, so home, and I own a video and production company, so tech. So yeah, I think, with you, Dave, it is about you. It sounds like you've created a personal brand in the same way that I have. I mean, my company name is Seriously Social Limited, but actually, and my brand name is kind of Confident Live. But I have grown a personal brand around me, around my name, Ian Anderson Gray, and people come to me, yes, to hear about live video, but also to hear about mindset and all these other things. So actually, yeah, you're right. But I do think it's important to have a niche, as we say in the UK, or niche, or be specific about what you're going to be talking about. And if you're too broad, then sometimes you're going to lose some people. Having said that, in your case, David, I don't know. You've got travel, you've got home improvement, and you've got tech. All of those appeal to me. So I would watch your show. So I wonder whether you've thought about your audience, and your particular audience will find those things really interesting. You also say, my first show will be about travel accessories and must-haves. Yeah. These things here, they've really helped me. Noise cancelling headphones, oh my goodness, really help with traveling once you go back on the planes, which I haven't done since, when was it? March 2020, but hopefully one of these days. Melissa says, sleepless or insomnia tips on how to cope. Great themes. That is great. Those are good things that people will find really interesting. So tips on how to cope, or tips on how to overcome some of those things as well. Love that. Great. Keep those coming. Okay. The next thing is a promise. What are you promising to deliver? Is there a transformation that you want to take people from and to? And on this show today, on these episodes, on the Winning with Live Video, we want to help you win with live video. That is the promise. We want to help you to it sounds grandiose to say this, but it is true. We seriously want to transform your lives. Okay, not like in the live video world or in the business world. We want to make it easy for you to go live with confidence, and to use multi-streaming, to use Restream. I mean, that's what this show is about. And we want to build a community. We want to help answer your questions. That's why we do the show. And obviously we want to spread the word about Restream. Obviously, that's one of the things. So the promise for my Confident Live Marketing show is that it's going to be challenging, encouraging, and also give practical tips on how to level up the audience's impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. It's going to be a holistic approach. And although the focus will be on live video webinars and podcast content, we'll be also looking at how to level up all areas of your life. My aim is for this to be a fun but no fluff podcast, and we'll be avoiding pseudoscience or woo-woo stuff, but just because that's me and that's my audience. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So that's my promise. What is your promise? It might be like thinking about Dave's Amazon Live. What's the promise for that show? Well, it's just, I assume what you would say there is to give some tips and product reviews on the subjects that you were talking about. So think about what those would be. Melissa, I think you've already shared that. And then finally, or semi-finally, penultimately, is what are your reasons for doing this? Again, there may be times when you think, why am I bothering with this? Like, what's the point? And the point might be, it's fun. It's fun to do this. And that's absolutely fine. Enjoyment is a really important thing. And that's kind of partly why I do this show and why I do my Confident Life show. I enjoy it. I love doing this. I really do. And if I didn't, I'd really struggle with that. But there are other reasons. For my other show, it's for brand awareness. It's to promote my products. It's to build relationships with guests and sponsors. And of course, what we're talking about today, it allows me to repurpose that content into YouTube, Facebook, blog posts, social media, podcasts, and all that kind of stuff. And then finally is coming up with some ideas for your episodes as well. So I would recommend coming up with, say, 12 episodes to get started with. And that's going to just give you that confidence to get started. This is not like set in stone. You can change this if you want. Some people get a bit like worried about like writing stuff down and that they have to stick to it. Well, no, you don't need to stick to it. But it will get you started. Okay. Great. Okay. What's next? Oh yeah, it's time travel. Have I gone completely mad? What am I on about here? Time travel. Well, it's because your live shows actually have different types of people. You've got the people watching now and people from the future. Now, if you're watching live, you are obviously watching now, but the first people to watch this show are the people from the future. Now, if you're watching live, you probably missed my first bit. The first bit for me was just actually talking to my replay audience and introducing what we're going to be talking about in today's show. So first thing you need to do is greet your future viewers, your replay viewers first. They are going to be watching on their own. They may see the comments from you watching live in the future, but they won't see other replay viewers. So it's very much it's kind of like a singular thing. It's so you want to make the replay viewers feel special. You really do. You want to spend time with your live viewers, but you don't want to spend so much time with them that your replay audience get bored. But of course, then you've got your live viewers, and I spent some time with you watching live after that. And you want to make your live viewers feel loved, because community is so important. And of course, your live viewers can ask questions that you can answer on your show. So you want to get a good structure going. What I recommend that you do is you start off with your replay, spend some time with your live viewers, and then get into the evergreen content and break it up and ask your audience some questions that you can answer live. And then that's going to be really valuable to your replay viewers. Now, if you turn your live show into a podcast, you have a third audience to think about. And of course, they are your podcast listeners. They are also from the future. They are also listening on their own. So they don't have that kind of party or community atmosphere. It's a very intimate experience. So you need to think about them. And of course, they are not going to be able to see what's on screen. So you need to describe what's on screen as well. So don't forget about your podcast listeners as well. I'd love to know from you. Are you looking at turning your live shows into podcasts? It's been an amazing thing for me. It's opened up so many doors. Live video is great, but if you can also add podcasting into the mix, it makes a massive difference. Restream really helps here, because once you've gone live in Restream Studio, you can then go into the recordings part of Restream and then download not just the video, but the audio. And if you have guests on your show, you can even download your audio separate to your guests. You can then download it and put it into the script. We're going to talk about all of that in a little bit. I can see that time is marching on. So let's go on to the pre-promotion side of things. So one thing that I have done on all of my shows, in fact, should we have a little drum roll? Actually, the drum roll might not work. Let's see. Tell me if you can hear this drum roll. Which one do we want? Do we want that one? Number one. Anyway, number one is tools in terms of like creating a show intro. And so this is one that I did for my other show a while back. And I did this using a tool called Wave Video. So I don't know whether you can hear that.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson.
So what I did there is I got an intro from Music Radio Creative. They put the music in and voiceover artists. You could do this yourself, but you want to put something that will work visually. So I used Wave Video for that and will also work for the podcast. So make sure you put that together. Okay, then the next thing you want to think about. Sorry, I forgot the timpani roll again. There we go. Social media. So the first thing that you will want to do, which I was talking about last week, is to schedule your live video in a tool. So obviously I use Restream for this. When you go into Restream, you can add the title and the description. You can then choose all the different destinations that you want to go live with. So going live to, so I've got my Facebook page usually, my groups, and a few other places as well, like YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and LinkedIn. So schedule that in advance, and then you will be given a link which you can then add everywhere. You could create a calendar like on addevent.com. And of course, you can then schedule it to all your social media channels. Let people know in advance when and where you're going to go live. And don't forget your email. Email lists are so important. And this is what I'm going to talk about now. Number 3 is email. Don't forget to alert your email subscribers. So I have an email that I send out every Friday, and I'll let them know when I'm next going to go live. You can even have a little countdown in there. I've got one from sendtrick.com there. It works really well. Okay, number 4, which is what we talked about last week, multi-streaming. And this is, I'm going to share with you now my setup. So often I will just use Restream on its own, or I use Ecamm and Restream. This is my setup here. It's actually a little bit different than this. I use a slightly different camera, but you don't have to start like this. Does this make you feel a little bit, I don't know, anxious? I hope not. But this is my setup. You could use a PC. You could keep it really simple, but just start off with something that allows you to go live and multi-stream to all those different destinations. The bit I want to talk about here, though, is the multi-streaming bit, because you can then stream to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all these places. But you can also, if you have guests on, you can allow them to broadcast it to their channels as well using Restream pairs. And a little bit more about that in a future episode. Number 5 is turning your live videos into social media snippets. So once you've done your live show, why not then post that onto Instagram stories or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, YouTube. Turn those into little snippets of video babies. So here's some examples. Here's one from posted, if I can speak properly, to an Instagram story.
And you'll be proud of this, Ian. I've actually launched a weekly live show as well, in addition to what I'm doing on YouTube, which is for my...
So there you go. That was just a very brief one to Instagram stories. And you can see I've got the captions there. Or this one is a square one for Instagram. So know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and know the differences between good guilt. So that was taken directly from a live show, and I've just repurposed it. And then finally, this is one that you could send to Twitter.
It's a lot like those hallway conversations at a conference, though. That's the thing that makes it different. So
So there's a number of different tools for that, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. There's Headliner is one, there's Descript, there's loads of different tools that will help. And of course, Restream has a full integration with Descript, which is it. Let me just put that in the comments actually. Descript is amazing. There is a great there's a link there to Descript. Definitely check that out. Okay, it is time for number 6, and that is audiograms. So again, audiograms is maybe something that I wouldn't quite use so often for when you start off with a video, but for a podcast, this is great because you can create a little wave video for your to create videos from your podcasts. So maybe think about audiograms as well, but you might want to start first with your videos. Number 7 is social media images. So you can create little images. You could use tools like Canva or Easel and just create images that you can then post out either before your live show or after your live show to create that. So that's very simple. All you need to do is create a template and do it that way. Number 8. Okay, this is the bit that I find really exciting, and that is to create Instagram Reels and TikToks or Snapchats. And this is very easy. You don't have to do what I do. Because I'm a singer, I love to sing mine, but just keep it super simple. You could either just repurpose from your live show, or you could just share 2 or 3 tips from the recent episode that you did. So here's an example from one of my live shows that I turned into an Instagram reel. And it's all about the anti-hustle formula, about just working hard intelligently.
5 a.m. no holiday. I work every day to increase my pay. This can't be the only way. I really don't want this every day. You want the anti-hustle formula. You want the anti-hustle formula.
Enough of that. Right, yeah, enough of that. What did I say? So there you go. I don't know what you think about that. But just have some fun. Make it interesting. Make it stand out. But it doesn't need to be complicated. Okay, so the tools that I use here, once you have gone live, you can then download it from the tool that you use. If it's Restream Studio, it makes it super simple. And then you can download it into Descript. There is an integration between Restream and Descript, which is great. But all you need to do is just download it into Descript. It will then transcribe it for you. You can then edit out all the ums and ers that you may have said. You can add some music at the beginning and the end and turn it into a podcast. Just be able to download it as an MP3 file, or you can download it in lots of different formats as well. Descript is amazing. If you want, you could also use other tools like Rev that will allow you to get captions. And of course, the caption file you can then upload to Facebook and YouTube and do it that way. And then, of course, there's Wave Video is a great tool that allows you to add captions as well and do some really cool things as well. So definitely check that out. Okay, number 9. My goodness. Don't forget about then uploading it to your podcast host. Now, I talked about this on my previous show that I had with Restream Podcast Now, so I'm not going to go into massive detail here, except I recommend a tool called Captivate FM. There are lots of different ones out there. There's Libsyn. I'm not going to go through all of that now, but make sure that once you've created your MP3s, that you upload it to a host, and then you let everyone know that you've got the podcast. I love Captivate FM because they're really focused on helping you grow your podcast as well. So definitely check that out. Number 10, as well as a podcast, you can then create show notes or turn it into a blog post. And this is what I do for all of my live shows. I turn them into blog posts. So I've got those images that I created in Canva or Easel. And then from Descript, I've got the full transcript, which I can then turn into a blog post. So I've got the blog post there, I've got the podcast player, and I've also got the video as well. So it really helps you repurpose. And there's loads of tools that will help you there. I've talked about Captivate. I've talked about Descript as well. So think about all of those different things. Well, that is basically most of my description. I hope that, or most of my presentation even, if I can get my words out today. I can see, what does Harry says, that real video is dope. It's certainly different. It's different. I'll give you that. And I have a lot of fun. You know, one of the things that I was talking about earlier is, you know, one of the reasons why I do what I do is that I love what I do. I want to have fun. And I think it's important to find fun in what you do. And if you're kind of a quirky character, or if there's things about what you do that's a bit different, then why not exploit those different things? I'd love to know from you watching, you know, what do you enjoy doing? What part of your personality that you might have been hiding would be good to kind of actually promote out there? And I'll be honest with you, for many years, I hid my singing background from what I do. I thought it was somehow incompatible with live video and being a business consultant. You know, I, as well as doing hosting these shows, I'm a consultant, I'm a coach. I did a live video install and consultancy with a corporate client up in the northeast of England last month. And, you know, you'd think that my kind of silly singing antics would not be like compatible with that, but it so is. It shows your character. It shows that you are human. So don't be afraid of that. Don't do what I did and hide that part of me. And thankfully, I realized the error of my ways, and I stopped doing that. Well, we've got a few minutes left. I would love to be able to answer your questions when it comes to repurposing or live streaming or multi-streaming. Let me know in the comments. I'm here to serve you. It's certainly been a busy day, and it's going to be a busy week. As I said, I went live all day today from 10 o'clock. We had 2 or 3 hour streams with lots of, we had over 300-400 people watching live. We had keynote speakers. We had so many comments. It was really good fun. But all of that, of course, is very tiring as well. And I think it's important. This is kind of the final thing that I will say when it comes to the whole mindset thing, is you've got to also think about what works for your schedule. You know, I think, what was it? Dave was talking about his show. One thing that I've been thinking about with Amazon Live, because I'm based in the UK, I know that I need to be broadcasting my Amazon Lives at a time that's going to work with my American audience. But I also need to make sure that I'm spending time with my family and that I'm also relaxing as well. So you need to kind of think about what works in your life and with your energy levels, and that is absolutely important. Don't discount the whole mindset side of things as well. So this live show goes out every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Central European. That's 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern. And it's all about winning with live video. We're going to be talking about other things like, for example, how to feel good in front of the camera. We'll be talking about tech things. I'm well aware that today has been a bit more advanced, but we'll be going back to some basics in future things as well. Harry Jameson asks a question. Getting ready to take my shows to podcast audio only. What platforms do you recommend? So it depends what you mean by platforms, but that's a great question, and one thing that I kind of skimmed over. So first of all, you need to find a hosting platform to host your podcast. Like, if you know anything about blogs and websites, you need to host your website. You need to find a host that will store your website and allow it to be accessed to the world. And so it's the same with podcasts. You need to find a host that specializes in podcasts. I mentioned Captivate FM. I love Captivate, but there are lots of other hosts out there, and that will allow you to upload your MP3s there, and they will then give you a podcast feed that you can then upload or let all the podcast directories know about. So podcast directories, the one that's non-negotiable is Apple Podcasts. Whether you are an Apple fan or not, Apple Podcasts is kind of the biggest. So make sure that you go and you upload your you upload your feed to Apple Podcasts. Captivate FM has you covered, by the way. They have one-click services that make it really easy here. But Apple Podcasts is really important. The other one is Spotify. It's really growing. It's a massive. I mean, Spotify is obviously really massive for music, but Spotify, you should definitely put your podcast there. Google Podcasts, absolutely. There are other ones as well, which are, I mean, there's so many, but those are the big ones that I would recommend that you have, you upload to. And, you know, if you use another tool, like, for example, I use Pocket Casts to listen to my podcasts. As long as you upload it to all the other ones and you add it to all those others, you'll be fine with Pocket Casts and other ones, Overcasts and things like that. Now, the other platform that I would recommend looking into is called Podchaser. I'm just going to put that in the chat. Podchaser. And Podchaser is like the IMDb of the podcasting world. And it's just good to have a presence there and add your podcast to there. So definitely check it out, Podchaser. I hope that answers your question, Harry. Thank you so much. That was a really, really good question. So, and when it comes to the live streaming, then make sure that you broadcast in as many different places as possible, like Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, DLive, you know, you name it, you can broadcast there. And it's my pleasure, Harry. Thank you so much for that. It was a great, great question. Well, I think that is it for this week. We were just a couple minutes off the hour, but if it's all right with you, I think we'll leave it there. I think we've gone through everything. I need to go and get my dinner and have a bit of a rest. And because I've got a whole other day tomorrow. But I'm so excited to be with you, and I would love it if you could be with us next week at the same time. Let us know also if there's anything that we can cover to help you. We're here to serve you. So let us know about that. And I also hope you like our little, I've got lots of different cameras here. I've got my Epoch cam over here. And I've also got, let's see if this is, oh no, that's that camera over there. That's my C920 camera. And then over here is my Epoch cam on my iPhone. And then I've got my M50 camera over here. In fact, let me just before we finish, I'm going to just take this off the stand. And then I'm just going to go around here. Is this going to work? Yeah, it is. You're going to see how messy my desk is, by the way. Okay, look how messy that is. But how many Stream Decks do you think you can have? Yeah, I've got actually got 3 Stream Decks. And over there, that is my main camera. I've also got my main monitor, I should say. I've also got my Rodecaster Pro. And then up here is my camera. And then I've got a little monitor so I can see what you see, but it's also a teleprompter as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's what that is. Just in case you wanted to know. So awesome. So yeah, we've got who have we got here? We've got Reg watching. Thank you. Thanks for streams. And thank you. Yeah, it's so the setup is taken a long time to get to what that is. You don't need to start off with all of that. But yeah, it's been awesome to spend some time with you today. That is it from me. And I just want to leave you with this, really. I want to encourage you to win with live video. I'll see you next week. Toodaloo.